What's up, guys? It's the new sensation, Big Annotation, here on the Nexus podcast. We're here. We just finished up the winner case at Dark Sphere, and I ended up finishing first place in Swiss with a hand green list with the new hand leader. Deck is super fun to play, and it felt pretty solid throughout the day. I think it's definitely got some legs to it in the meta. Before we get into things, I do have to give a massive shout out to Swoop Racers because I just ripped the list off them. It's not my list. The sideboard, I came up with a couple of things, but most of it is all them. But yeah, we'll run straight into it. It's going to be pretty quick. The hand leader is very strong. He cheats out stuff. On the front side, you can tap him, play a unit for 1 cost less, and deal 2 damage to it. And then when he flips, he has that as an action, which isn't once per turn. So the idea is, early game, you can swarm the board with a bunch of 1 and 2 drops, and then as soon as you deploy, you just spit out like 4 or 5 units if you can. And we want to run it with ECL because Poe and Rekka are insane, and we don't really care too much about our health because we want to be a little bit aggressive. The deck can go long, but you'd prefer to end games quicker. So for 1 drops, we got Maskanata, the GOAT. You see this turn 1 with 2 1-drops, and your board is mental. And honestly, throughout the game, like you can play this turn 4, turn 5, turn 6. Late game, it's still a great card. 3 Clone Deserter, another great statted unit. The bounty isn't too detrimental. The restore one is great against aggro, and you can play it and it lives with the hand ability. Same with R2D2. You can play this and it lives with hand ability. So ideally, you see a hand of like Maskanata and 2 of these in your opener. And then we're also running Reckless Gunslinger, a nice finisher, a nice smuggle card, and it can also be a 1-drop for the Maskanata early play. So we got 12 1-drops, which is pretty nice. And then for 2 drops, Battlefield Marine, good stats. Sabine, also good stats. Heroic Renegade, it's a 4-1, which is like a really solid turn 1 play. And again, you can just cheat it in with Han later on. Still, a 4-1 is always going to be great stats. And then for some of the other 2 drops, we've got 2 Mon Mothma. This is a great card against control. It's also a great card with hand ability. I'm going to say this a lot throughout the deck profile, I think. Playing it as a 1-1 for 1 that searches top 5 is crazy good, because then you can often fill out your curve with other things. And there's a few rebels in the deck that you can pick up. You're not going to whiff off of it, really. And you can also bounce it with Bright Hope, so you can get a lot of value against control with that. We've got 1 Ketsu Onyo, and I really wanted to put more copies of this in the main deck. I think it's a change I might consider going forwards. The main issue is you can't cheat it out with Han because of the 2 health, but the effect is super relevant. The Saboteur is really nice. I was siding in, because I have some copies on the side as well, I was siding in the other 2 copies quite a lot, because I was against like Kira, it's really good. Against Boba, it's really good to deal with like Evazan or Crafted Smuggler. There's a lot of decks that are super good against Tarkin when they're going all space and buffing up their units. You can just take off all the experience tokens. Again, against Boba, you can destroy Boba's armor with it. Yeah, there's a lot of different options for this. Even against like Bosk, you can kill off their bounties that they put on your units. The card is really nice. The main issue is the 2 health. 3 drops, we've got 3 red 3. This is like the perfect follow-up to your triple 1-drop turn 1, because you have Maskanata and like Clone Deserter and R2D2, and then you slam this and just jam face. It's not all the time that you go face with this deck. You want to take as many decent trades as possible. It's not like a pure aggressive deck. You just need to maintain control of the board. Look for good trades, but if you can't make good trades, you go face. 3 Cassian. This card's insane. He's a finisher from Smuggle. He's a 3-mana 3/5, and in this deck he's also a 2-mana 3/3 if you need him. Like, actually crazy. Echo-based Defender. Still a super relevant card, and you want a Sentinel for mid-range and aggressive matchups quite badly. And a 4-1 for 2 with hand. Like, all just good stats. 2 Akbar. Keeps you control of the board. This deck really needs to keep control of his board. Also with the Echo-based Defender, it's great because you can protect your 1-drops that you play early on. Onto the bigger units, we got 3 K2s. Great card to finish with. You generally, in this deck, you don't ECL it in because you save your ECL specifically for Wrecker or Poe. But still an amazing card. It's going to help you finish games. Against some decks, you might want to hand rip, but it depends on the game state. Like against Boba, I'd consider hand ripping. Against Control, I'd consider it. But most of the time, you just ping face. 2 Bright Hope, great against Control. Tanks 2 hits into Fet's Fire Spray. The deck really doesn't have many space units, so you kind of need the Sentinel body. And you can play it as a 2/4 Sentinel, which will tank like 7th Fleet Defender hits and Cartel Spacer. A-Wings as well, Red 3 as well. Like it's a very tanky card, both for 3 with 4 health and for 4 with 6 health. We did have 3 Poe Dameron. Shout out to Josh for lending me the other 2. But yeah, this card's nuts. The idea with the deck is you play Sabine, but you get a bigger board than them. So you just abuse ECL with Poe to one-shot their leaders, or with Wrecker. Depending on when their leader deploys, you look for Poe if it deploys on turn 5. You look for Wrecker if it deploys on turn 6. You can also cheat Poe in on turn 4, or 4 resource, I guess. And that's a bit insane if you've managed to control the board well. And you can also cheat in Wrecker, but you have to be careful if you cheat in Wrecker because you need to deploy before you do that, otherwise you miss a deploy. We're running 1 IG-11. This card never... I don't think I drew this card all day. It's another decent ECL target. It's mainly good against the leaders that deploy on 5 with 6 health, but it's... yeah, it's not the craziest, but it's still decent. Sometimes it got sided out as well. And then the only event that we run in the deck is 3 Heroic Sacrifice. It's a finisher, but it also helps you trade up into things, and it replenishes your hand size, which the deck goes through very quickly. It needs to smuggle units and these, basically. Yeah, if you ever play against Boba Yellow and they Bodhi Rook you, you're pretty happy. For the side, we've got 2 more Ketsu Onyo. This card came up a lot today. It was very nice. Like I said already before, siding it against Kira, Tarkin, Boba is really good. 3rd, Bright Hope, also great. You want to defend the space, you really need to defend space. So like against decks like Boba or Sabine, I'm siding this in for sure. 1 choose sides. I wanted this for Control and for Boba, because you can steal fire sprays. I managed to steal a fire spray after they did it in, and it won me the game because I could take the fire spray, force the no good to me dead out, and then just swing all my ground units at face and win from there. But I was on 5 health, so I needed to deal with the fire spray with this. I honestly think this should maybe go to 2 or 3 copies because it is super overperformed today. I really missed it when I didn't see it when I sided it in. These were actually the only 4 cards I ever sided in, but I didn't really play against much aggro. So these are the main ones. Like against Boba, I wanted all 4 of these, and then against like Kira, I wanted these as well. Maybe these 3, and Bright Hope came in a lot as well. But for the other cards, I was running 1 Crate Dragon, 2 Home 1 for Control. Actually, I did use Crate Dragon today once. Home 1 I didn't side in. I like Crate Dragon though, because it can be used as a finisher. This is probably better against like hard control decks like Double Blue Iden and stuff. But against something like Kira Green or Krennic Green, I think this might be better. So you kind of want both for the different sorts of matchups. And then we got 2 Sundari Peacekeeper and a 3rd Admiral Akbar. These are for aggro. I didn't play a Sabine today, so we were kind of fine there. I didn't end up siding any of these. But yeah, that is pretty much the list. Hope you guys enjoyed, and we'll catch you guys in the next one.